Democrats have moved too far left for me, according to USA polling from the Harris poll, February 22nd. 69% agree, 31% disagree. Yeah, I agree. We're doing too much communism. That's what it is. That's what's going on. If Democrats move any further right, they'll just run a unity ticket with Trump as a Democratic nominee. But guess what? Ultimately, Democrats win in that situation. So it's a win-win, really. Think about that. It would still be a Democrat winning. It's not about the issues, as we know. It's simply about the aesthetics of the Democrats winning. I was actually thinking about this in the shower earlier today. I was taking a shower earlier. I was thinking about this because, like, the type of person that loves habitually voting in this country, or the type of person that really follows politics, because the way that American politics work, is just someone who is simply entertained by this prospect, which is why I think it lends itself way more towards people who are personally invested in it as a team sport rather than an extraction of demands from your elected representatives. Because there's no real extraction of demands, it has not happened in many, many years, and it doesn't seem likely that it will happen anytime soon, that I feel as though people that are really invested in politics just simply are invested in it from the perspective of team sports, which is why they have they don't show any anger or resentment for the most part when the Democratic Party will be like, we are going to be the right-wing party actually, but still vote for us, please. Like, we are lapping the Republican Party from the we're lapping the Republican Party on issues that they are like really, really invested on, like a white nativist immigration policy. Because there is no other reason that people would not be offended and profoundly frustrated other than the fact that you just simply care about your team winning. Even sports fans yell at their own team because they know what a good game looks like. These types of voters are worse. Yeah, bro, he's like, dude, this is so funny. He's trying to squeeze his tight five right now. Oh no, you could tell, dude, what has happened to my man? When you find out your goat is washed, times 100, okay? This man, for all of his failures, excelled in one thing and one thing only: kissing babies as a retail politician. This was Joe Brandon's strong suit, okay? Glad handing fucking white supremacists, but also doing a phenomenal job as a retail politician. So the fact that he is unironically failing on that front and just spitting out talking points that he's trying to remember instead of having a normal conversation is very sad. Okay? Straight up. Normally, this would be like old Brandon would have he would have just fucked this interview up, okay? He would have been cracking jokes, like obviously talking about the accomplishments and whatnot, but in a much more charismatic, much more natural way. Of course he's a real politician. Of course. I mean, his entire life is politics, right? But because he was a very good retail politician, that's his whole swagger. His whole vibe is like, that's right, I say it like it is type shit. You know what I mean? He was very, he used to do a phenomenal job of like going around and kissing babies. You know what I mean? That was his shtick. Like, this is what he excelled at. This is what carried him in many ways, right? He was a swagged out white boy. You see moments of that every now and then. You saw moments of that last time around when he was campaigning. Phenomenal job at presenting as authentic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not to mistake that with like real authenticity. Of course, he's a politician his whole life. He is not an authentic person. But like the listen fat, I'll challenge you to a push-up contest out back. Like that type of stuff is like moments where you saw him like be a real person, even in this last election cycle. Not this one, but But it only came out in moments where he was angry. Like, he used to be very good at just like having funny haha moments. That's why, like Obama's best friend, like he's Obama's best friend. Are we forgetting all this? Like, all of that plays into his like charm as a doddering old fool who has a lot of gaffes. For those of you who are wondering, I keep referencing this term, retail politician. Retail politics, here we go, according to Google, is a style of political campaigning in which the candidate attends local events in order to target voters in a small scale or individual basis. Here are some photos of retail politics. Immediately kissing babies. That's what you do. You're like, I'm a real guy. Here's a really great example of someone who failed at retail politics. Ron DeSantis. Retail politics is basically remembering that fucking Iowa exists every 4 years, okay? That's what retail politics is. Yeah, Hillary pouring a beer. Anyway, because in America, we don't really vote. We don't see politics as a means of like resource distribution and power distribution amongst the classes, either of the classes. And instead, we see it as like, oh, that's a guy I can drink a beer with. And because most Americans just vote simply along party lines, and the guy that they vote for, or the people who are like undecided, I guess, will oftentimes vote for who they can have a fucking beer with. Retail politics is the way to fill that gap, to basically show I'm the guy you can drink a fucking beer with. Right? George W. Bush basically became president as a consequence of the beer, the guy you can drink a beer with. So that's it. That's what retail politics is. And Brandon used to be pretty decent at it. He no longer has it, and therefore he no longer has that charm because he's gotten old. Look at this. Look at this moment. To the chatter while I was pissing that said, Hasan leaves at the cringiest moments on purpose. Let me tell you something, okay? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But if you think that I'm not watching at all times, watching chat or watching the stream at all times, even when I'm fucking pissing, okay, I am watching it. You understand? Look at this, though. I got to show you this one more time. Look at this.
Parks and Rec.
I mean, I guess I make a weird face when I put my glasses on too. Maybe I'm hyper focusing on everything that he does. When you're actually old and you fail to deliver on that joke that you are old, you come across even older than you would if you had actually delivered that joke in a way that people are receptive to. What do I mean by this? Look no further than Donald Trump. Donald Trump dodders on a lot, but he comes across as more coherent than Biden on camera. That's it. That's it. Donald Trump is a rambling psycho and a narcissist, but he is significantly more telegenic than Joe Biden is. It's just true. I don't know how else to describe this to you guys. It's not even like my own personal assessment. Voters feel this way as well. Like, no matter how ideologically invested you are in the Democratic Party, although we have two incredibly old dipshits that are running in the election, that much is very clear. That has also had an effect on people's reception to this election cycle. That's why you rarely even hear. That's why you rarely even hear about it in the real world. If you go outside in the real world, like, people are not invested in politics in the same way that we are. We are always invested in politics as a political stream. But the normies are not as invested or as interested, and you see that reflect in the ratings across the board for politics in general. And that's partially because they're both old. Both of the candidates are old. However, one candidate has an infinitely more motivated fan base, Donald Trump. This much is true. They're fucking psychotic, bloodthirsty, and they are very invested in Donald Trump. The other candidate is it has the capacity to reach a much broader subsect of society, considering all the failures of Donald Trump when he was president, and yet fails to do so as a consequence of coming across as too old. That's his major issue.
This is not your father's Republican Party.
Stop defending the Republican Party, you fucking doddering old fool. This part is not just Brandon being old, but this is like just genuine Democratic Party incompetence that has existed in the contemporary Democratic Party far before Joe Brandon and will continue after Joe Brandon as well. We need a strong Republican Party. No, you don't. The strong Republican Party is the Republican Party that says you're a fucking vampire that is doing QAnon conspiracies, and your son and you were running around and like banging prostitutes and fucking doing Burisma deals, okay? Shut the fuck up. You're not running for the Republican ticket. Stop saying we need a strong Republican Party. Stop doing PR for this Republican Party that does not exist. It has never existed, and it still does not exist. Why do you think they keep saying that about a strong GOP? Honest question. They want to come across as bipartisan so they can keep captivating the undecided voters that are moderate and like hate Donald Trump for being a chaos bringer. That's it. And it's weird because like those people already consider Trump to be a genuine threat to democracy. So you already have that. You already have captured them. So stop further feeding into their mania or what you expect their mania to be and start actually messaging like you are different than the Republican Party. Except Democrats let the Republicans run the message. Okay, and Republicans don't have anything to fight against from the Democratic front because they're not going to do anything. They're not going to actually pass progressive legislation that that the Republicans have to fight against. So then they run the conversation. They find new wedge issues, and the Democratic Party looks at that and goes, okay, well, we agree on these wedge issues, actually. Oh, she's pressing buttons. Calm down. No! Anyway, guys. Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.